Hello students, welcome on my YouTube channel Physics by Pradeep Kumar. Now today in this video we will discuss your next topic, which is nothing but the dynamic or kinetic friction. Kinetic or dynamic friction. Or frictional force or frictional force. Okay, so dynamic, kinetic or dynamic friction is that opposing force opposing force is friction is the opposing force. Sorry, kinetic or dynamic friction is the opposing force that comes in the picture when a body, when one body is actually moving on another body. Okay, so suppose this is the upper surface of any object and this is another object which is moving on the surface of this object. Then suppose this is an applied force, and moving in this direction. Okay, and here will be a friction force Fk. Okay, it is denoted by Fk. Okay, remember here that Fk is slightly smaller than Fs. Okay, I clear now? Chali. Now after this we will define the laws of frictions. Okay, so first of all we define the laws of static friction. Laws of static friction. Okay, laws of static friction. There are three laws. First is the static friction, the force of the static फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स, अब आप देखिए यहाँ पर यदि इस ऑब्जेक्ट का वेट ज़्यादा होगा तो इसे मूव कराने के लिए आपको अप्लाइड फोर्स भी उतना ही ज़्यादा लगाना होगा, और ये जो फ्रिक्शन है इसका उतना ही ज़्यादा क्या करेगा, अपोज करेगा। तो जो वेट है वो आपका डाउनवर्ड हो गया mg, और ये इसकी हो गई रिएक्शन r। तो किसी ऑब्जेक्ट के द्वारा दूसरे ऑब्जेक्ट पर जितनी ज़्यादा रिएक्शन अप्लाइड होगी उस पर फ्रिक्शन भी उतना ही ज़्यादा होता है। स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स इज डायरेक्टली proportional to the reaction of that body. Okay, so that is Fs is directly proportional to R, implies that Fs equals to mu s into R, where small mu s is known as static frictional constant between the surfaces, contact surfaces. Contact surfaces. Okay. Second is nothing but the static friction does not depend. The static friction does not depend upon the area of the contact surfaces, उसके कॉन्टैक्ट सरफेस पर डिपेंड नहीं करता है। थर्ड पॉइंट, third point is the static friction depends on the smoothness or hardness of the contact surfaces. Okay, since here R is also equals to mg, so we can write here implies that Fs equals to mu s into mg. Okay, but this formula we will apply in the case of the limiting static friction, because the static frictional force also depends on the applied external force. So if you vary the applied external force, then Fs will be also vary, but R remains constant. So remember this point also, valid for limiting friction. Okay, similarly the laws of kinetic frictions, write down, we will write down here and you can write here So write down here laws of kinetic friction. After writing these kinetic friction, there are also three laws. The kinetic frictional force is directly proportional to the reaction of the body, that is Fk is directly proportional to this, and then this will be like this. Okay, and mu k is known as kinetic frictional constant. फ्रिक्शनल कांस्टेंट और कोफिशिएंट, सॉरी कोफिशिएंट ही बोल देते हैं इसे, रिमेंबर दिस. एंड सेकंड पॉइंट इज आल्सो द काइनेटिक फ्रिक्शन does not depend upon the area of the contact surfaces, and the kinetic friction depends on the smoothness or hardness of the contact surfaces also. Okay, and it is valid all everywhere, every time, because this kinetic frictional force is constant. Okay, but have its value is smaller than the limiting frictional force, and the variation of the is like this: applied force frictional force. Initially, if applied force is 0, then frictional force is also 0, and if we increase the applied force, then frictional force is also increases, and it gives a straight line, and after a limit it just downfall, and again it's constant. This is kinetic friction. Limiting friction, static friction. Okay, so remember these points also here, and this condition is very very important. Remember this also. So after that we will define the laws of limiting friction. And the laws of limiting friction is nothing but the laws of limiting friction. There are 4 laws. Here, right here, first law, the limiting frictional force is directly proportional to the reaction, right here, Fs maximum. Okay, so right here Fs maximum, and here is mu r. R is mg, so this will be Fs maximum and mu mg. Okay, remember this. And the second law is nothing but Second law, the direction of force, the direction of limiting frictional force is always opposite to the direction of applied force. Third law, the limiting frictional force does not depend upon the surface area of the contact. Fourth law, the limiting force depends upon the nature of the contact surfaces or hardness or smoothness of the surface. ओके, सो यहाँ पर हमने 4 लॉ इसके कंबाइन किए हैं। ये लॉ आप चाहे तो इसमें कंबाइन कर सकते हैं, जैसे हमने पीछे 3 लॉ बनाए, तो उस बेस पर आपके 3 लॉज में ये आपके क्या हो जाएंगे, कन्वर्ट हो जाएंगे। तो इन्हीं लॉज की हेल्प से हम क्या करेंगे, इन्हें डिफाइन करने की कोशिश करेंगे। नेक्स्ट वीडियो में हम कोफिशिएंट ऑफ फ्रिक्शन डिफाइन करेंगे, म्यू को, किसकी डेफिनेशन क्या होगी, और फिर एंगल ऑफ फ्रिक्शन डिफाइन करेंगे। उसके बाद कुछ एग्जांपल्स पर देखेंगे हम डिफाइन करने के लिए। ओके, सो try to understand these topics and see the full video. Okay, thank you for watching this video.